Beautiful old building, right? Mm-hmm. And stuff like this lasts forever, doesn't it? Absolutely.
if you take care of it.
I'd say we now have over 600 videos on the channel and we mostly just show the same old stuff, right? This electric car can do this, that one can do that. One has its strengths here, the other has its weaknesses there. But somehow it feels like we lack a bit of individuality, don't we?
Right?
Do you have any idea what we could show our viewers that's unique, special and different, capturing their interest and keeping them engaged?
I believe we do, though. For instance, we have a Korean manufacturer that somewhat adopts the exquisite brand.
Yeah, but it has to remain affordable, you know, so maybe 50, 60, 70,000 euros you could potentially pay for premium, but is there something like that?
For example, I have a Genesis on offer right now,
Do you mean the Capri Blue one over there?
the GV60.
Right, we have thoughtfully prepared that as a 2024 model for you in 2 detailed videos. Today, in a classic review with a comprehensive test drive, we want to highlight in detail what special features you can configure in a Genesis GV60, perhaps showing you how to make it special enough to stand out by itself, even if you want it to be completely unique. It is based on the same platform as the Hyundai Ioniq 5 or the Kia EV6, but offers a whole lot more and pleasantly different, and then we'll take a look in a second video at just how efficient a GV60 actually is. So what does it consume on the highway at 100, 120, 140, 160 kilometers h? And of course we want to do the charging check to see if the factory specification of 10 to 80% in 18 minutes is accurate. I think there's a lot of material to cover. We shouldn't waste time. Please check your subscription to support us and the community so you won't miss any updates. One hand the other. Also, the second video with the consumption drive and charging check. Here we go with the 2024 Genesis GV60. As always, we start from the outside at the front. Let's check out the Genesis GV60 front. It starts at around 54,000 euros, making it appealing in the luxury EV market. Then definitely with basic equipment. And our test subject here has a gross list price of 75,000, Stefan. Wow.
Hi.
That means you can customize a Genesis with 20,000 euros or just a bit over 20,000 euros in such a way that it really and truly might actually even become a unique piece, at least for you. Yes, let's proceed chronologically. We have right here in front a very, very beautiful silhouette of the radiator grille. I really like that. Genesis builds both combustion and electric vehicles, offering options to suit different driving preferences. The Genesis GV60 is completely electric, utilizing the same platform as the Kia EV6 and Hyundai Ioniq 5, which offers excellent performance overall. Yes, it always comes standard with LED headlights in both high and low beam versions. If you're using the tech package, just like we are, then you also get an intelligent and sophisticated solution for the LED headlights. It's brilliant, letting you fade out parts of oncoming traffic, making night driving not only safer but also more comfortable by reducing glare and ensuring better overall visibility. Yes, we still have our curtains in the fender here, but we have a drag coefficient of 0.29. That's quite a lot, right?
For a slightly larger type of car, yes.
When you consider a Mercedes EQS, which certainly plays in a completely different price range, it has a drag coefficient of 0.20 and is therefore extremely efficient as well. That means we also want to find out with you, can you test drive a Genesis GV60? Also drive economically efficiently. We have the premium package included, which costs an extra 3,000 euros, and I'd also recommend it to you. Additionally, we have the sports package included, which also includes the 20-inch rims. You have the option to get them either in anthracite gray or, as we have here, in silver metallic, depending on your personal preference. I find it nice again, not always these black rims, but a nice silver rim, aerodynamically a bit optimized, but those sports car genes still come through, right? Yes?
Looks great.
Yes, and that's exactly what Genesis wants to embody somehow. What I particularly like here is the plastic. In terms of material, as well as in this silver bronze colored coating, that's quite pleasant indeed. Unlike this black painted plastic, I might have also wished for an optional variant for those who want something subtler and more understated. This could appeal to people who prefer a minimalist look. Yes, K Capri Blue is our exterior color for all those who say, wow, I like it so much, I want to configure it for myself. And what's brilliant here is basically the silver elixir. The V stands for Volt, because we have an electric vehicle, as I've been told. Then it goes around here, and look, Stefan, it indeed even goes over the entire windshield. Genesis, when you see the logo, you'd likely think of a Bentley knockoff. It makes you think twice. But you don't really want that. It should, of course, be independent, but probably the creator of Genesis, which belongs to Hyundai, probably thought, man, these wings, they would also fit well with our brand. And I think there's enough distinction from Bentley so that one wouldn't immediately think of it as a plagiarism, right?
I don't believe so.
Let's move to the rear section. First, we have a nice coupe with sleek P-like lines. It goes down sharply at the C-pillar, creating a dynamic profile. Don't miss the Capri blue shark fin, perfectly accentuating the car's design. Could have saved myself that one. Maybe they could have integrated it into the mirror body. But what I find really cool is this burger counter here. Burger counter, why? Because we always take a charging break. Usually next to the charging station, there's an American chemist with a big M, with a big B, or with KFC or whatever. And then you can, of course, enjoy eating from this counter wonderfully, at least in my size. Exactly.
Fantastic.
Otherwise, it should naturally exhibit sporty dynamics. It should essentially integrate the third brake light and the rear view camera. And in between here is the glass pane. That means they were basically placed on the glass pane. When you look through the rear view mirror, you can basically see through here. I think that's a pretty cool design element, right? Yeah.
Got something.
Let's move away from the rear spoiler to a real spoiler, right? Yes. Yes, a mischievous person might think something bad. You could associate the taillight LEDs with Bentley again.
Yeah.
But not exactly like that, you know? But just a bit, right?
Sure, they must have it somewhere.
Exactly. And down here we also have a bit of this durable and shiny plastic in this beautiful silver bronze color. Yes, I'm usually not a fan of plastic, but here it seems really high quality, doesn't it?
It also matches with the combination paint and all that.
Ultrasonic sensors so you can park in and out properly. We have a 360-degree camera on board. So these are all features where I think, man, this could be a really powerful electric car, right? Let's get to the technical details. It's 4.51 meters long, which makes it still relatively compact. 1.89 meters wide, including mirrors, 1.58 meters tall, so about 2 to 3 centimeters lower than the typical SUVs. Have a 2 meters 90 wheelbase, providing excellent stability. The 77.4 kilowatt-hour battery pack offers about 74 kilowatt-hours net. The base model comes with rear-wheel drive, featuring a motor on the rear axle delivering 168 kilowatt, roughly 229 horsepower. This SUV is equipped with the Sports package, enhancing its performance and aesthetics with sport-tuned suspension and unique styling elements, which I believe I read in the configurator costs an additional 9,900 euros. Then with all-wheel drive, that means we have 160 kilowatt at the rear and an additional 74 kilowatt at the front. That means 234 kilowatt should roughly correspond to 318 HP system output. Then we also have a good 600 Newton meters of torque. Of course, we want to see how the punch will be later. That means we have the 74 kilowatt electric motor on the front axle, all-wheel drive. For those wanting more, there's always the Sport Plus package, Stefan. Yes, sure. I think it costs an extra 19,000 euros, but the premium package is included. With 180 kW in the back and 180 kW electric motor on the front axle. Totals 360 kW, 490 HP.
That sounds like fun.
It feels kind of throttled to 490 HP, and then Genesis thought, why don't we eventually bring out an amazing model with more power and features? Super Genesis GV60 Super Sport version coming out supposedly in the third quarter of 2025. Sort of in line with the Ioniq 5N. So once again, it's definitely a real high-performance weapon. I'm really excited about that because there are certainly a few enthusiasts who will probably want to push for some high-performance driving, right?
How you can go out.
Yes, it's charged back here on the passenger side, and it has an electric charging flap, something even the older generations of the Mercedes EQS don't have. The newer ones do apparently. It can charge AC 3-phase with 11 kilowatt, which means we can go from completely empty to fully charged in about 7.5 hours. We also have the option to fast charge, supposedly up to 270 kilowatts according to the manufacturer. Usually we saw around 235 kilowatt on the charger meter. Means 10 to 80% in approximately 18 minutes. Yeah, what I also like about it is that it folds up really high. Because when you're charging on the street publicly, you don't have the charging flap here or here in the way, you know?
You don't have to run the cable past it.
That's a great idea, right? Yes, and believe it or not, what opens electric?
Closes electric.
This is how it should be. You also have a vehicle to load function, which I believe costs extra like a little toy. But then you can draw up to 3.6 kilowatt from the battery to power an electric grill on the go or recharge your bike. Additionally, with an optional trailer hitch, it becomes even more versatile and convenient for various activities. More on that later. Hyundai and Kia understood one thing, that in e-mobility, you usually have a charging cable with you. This charging cable can also be used in bad weather conditions. After washing the car, we drove through a small rain field. That's why the car isn't perfectly clean, like you're used to seeing in our videos during the year. And Hyundai, Kia, and hopefully also Genesis have thought of a frunk, because you obviously don't want to mix that wet, dirty charging cable with your luggage in the trunk. And we have that at least in the all-wheel drive variants with 20 liters. I think that's okay because you can fit in 1 or 2 charging cables. We know that from our Kia EV6, super practical. It's also well insulated and isolated, so no moisture or anything gets in. The only thing I find a bit of a shame when we start getting into this premium stuff is that there's no additional cladding here. In the end, we've got windshield washer fluid here, brake fluid here, and I think some sort of hydraulic oil or whatever goes in there. We have hood fans, which is not a given, so let's praise that we don't just have some rod and all that stuff going on. And we have nice insulation because we have air conditioning technology down here. In our all-wheel drive variant, we have the second electric motor, and of course sound insulation is really nice these days. Because in electromobility, you want to drive quietly, which Genesis is particularly proud of. Because they've managed to let the hood, as you can clearly see right here, run over the fender in mass production processes. We tend to see things like that more often with brands like Aston Martin or Ferrari. I forgot the exact term for when it overflows like that, but I wanted to mention it again because Genesis really emphasized they can do it. Let's try it and see how it sounds, okay?
Of course. 3, 2, 1. Ha!
Satisfied. What Genesis is able to manage perhaps a nuance better than either Hyundai or Kia are details such as gap dimensions, paint quality, and overall material finish. We have this really beautiful metallic, almost pearl effect paint in Capri Blue here, where a bit of a very light blue shimmers in the sunlight. Well, I think that's build quality at a different level, right? It shows the attention to detail here.
Yes, that turned out really well.
It must be said though, it's definitely a different price point. They are also around 10,000 euros more expensive here, give or take, than the base models of the Ioniq 5 or Kia EV6. You can expect the tailgate to open electrically. If you have it locked, you can use the smart tailgate feature. You already know this from our videos with the Hyundais and Kias. That means when you approach with the key, it beeps 2 or 3 times and then the hatch opens electrically. So right here, we've got a nice wobbly rear shelf, much like in the other variants. And here in our premium Napa leather trim, we also have a beautifully crafted Alcantara headliner. As the Spaniard says yes to Alcantara, it's very valuable, and that's what I find sad. Look, Stefan, down here we will continue working with a hard plastic material instead. I'm sure it's top quality. All plastics are nowadays, at least according to the manufacturers, but it kind of looks like
Van plastic.
yeah, and if we're honest, look, it already starts when you have some luggage here, or just lightly run your fingernail over it. That's scratched. I don't really want to damage it now, of course. I find it kind of a shame.
You could have used the leftover carpet, which would have been a simpler solution.
Exactly, but what is really valuable here is this aluminum elixation on the entry sills. That's truly excellent. We also have a double loading floor here where you can charging cable, then the video account load set, a detachable trailer hitch that can be stowed away easily, or even just a small healthy lunch break. Yes, we have an additional charging cable here, and overall we have 432 liters of trunk volume.
Sounds like little at first.
Right? That means due to the beautiful look, because it also goes down very, very much in a coupe-like manner here, we do lose a bit of cargo volume, right? Sure, yes, because there are competitors like the Skoda Enyaq, which is in a similar size range, maybe a bit longer, and it already has 580 liters.
Yeah, well, that fits a lot.
For those who find the 432 liters insufficient, you can fold down 40% of the passenger side, providing extra space for additional belongings or luggage. That's a great story that we can create some more volume, and for those who still need more, there's also the option to fold down 60% of the driver's side. I miss a pass-through option, yes?
Nice to have the pass.
So either fold down the 20% in the middle, which isn't possible because this part is continuous. And we also don't have a pass-through compartment in the center armrest because some of you might want to go on a ski holiday or carry a long item. So in any case, with a slight increase, you have 1,550 liters of storage volume. And I think that should be enough for most people to transport something, right? Oh yes.
I think so.
Let me guess what operates electrically.
Closes electrically.
It should be the same with the Genesis. So let's see if it has soft close at the bottom, meaning it gently closes the flap and then pulls it in. I always find that classy, that's for me. What we didn't find, by the way, is a roof load. I could use your collective wisdom. Feel free to drop it in the comments. I couldn't find anything about a roof load, which I find disappointing. Because a nice roof rack with a ski box would be cool, right?
But it'd hide the shark tooth necklace.
Well, I'd always overlook that. What is at least optionally available, I think costs about 1,000 euros, is a trailer hitch. Thus, 1.6 tons of braked towing capacity and probably even 100 kilos of tongue load. And 100 kilos of tongue load is interesting for the enthusiasts of refined bicycle e-bike sports, so they can transport their electric pedal assistance as well. Is that possible? Because a pedelec bike can easily weigh 20 to 25 kilos. The rear bike rack itself, well, you should theoretically be able to take 3 of them. Outside, we've shown you everything we needed to. Let's go inside and check the windows properly to ensure everything is in good condition. For a high-quality vehicle, we even have double glazing here, which means 2 panes of glass connected by a film. And we have here the high-quality Napa leather trim, which I believe adds about 3,300 euros to the price. But this one even has a Napa leather trim. It looks incredibly classy and sophisticated, also nice and soft to the touch. Let me check how soft this padding is. For all the elbow drivers out there who rest their elbow here, you'll love this. A nice edge here again with a gray seam. We've got beautiful Alcantara here, or as the Spaniard would say, Alcantara. Then once again here with the double line guide and a nice high quality plastic handle. It could of course have been metallic too. The mirror distortion, we have the analog mirrors, and with dimming functions. Optionally, you'll also get digital exterior mirrors. So you have some monitors here as well, and we have the Bang & Olufsen sound system on board for about 1,100 euros. Let's listen to how that sounds. Also here, nice and soft, thick, foamy, that if the elbow is one level lower, it is also ergonomically supported softly. We have the window adjustment here, also the mirror adjustment. Additionally, there's a memory function with 2 settings for the driver's seat for personalized comfort. I just saved my position, right? Let's spread out a bit around the car. Excellent. And down here, I would actually say it's plastic, but look at how softly padded and comfortable it appears to be, right? Nah, I'll let that slide, right? You can even fit a big bottle of water in here at an angle, maybe at most a liter. It takes some hassle to fit, but here you can hear it clearly. There's quite a lot of noise inside.
Chain's gone again.
No, look over here. The insert is made of hard plastic, soft here and hard over there. And because it's hard here, it rustles here. Man, Genesis, when you do a facelift, I can totally imagine the car going into its 3rd year after the initial presentation comes September. Something might happen. So I speculate maybe a bigger battery pack, like 84 kilowatt hours, 79 kilowatt hours net. What do you think?
Could happen.
And a few here and there, a few upgrades. Well, let's wait and see what Genesis offers in the future. I hope that there will be a nice carpet, felt or rubber so that it doesn't rustle and clatter. Where Genesis is particularly proud and thus welcome to the interior is this spear ball. It'll probably be slightly illuminated at night as well. Looks kind of cool and is supposed to have a safety function so you don't accidentally start the vehicle. Well, I don't know. It's always worked with every other car, so stay put while we press start here. Then it turns and the engine starts right up because my foot is firmly on the brake pedal. And here we have the gear selector, resembling a child safety lock on toys or household items. What I'm saying here is, this can definitely be a visual highlight for those who really like it, okay? But I hope it doesn't break. Oh, by the way, that's the cool thing about Genesis. You get 5 years of warranty, full service, including maintenance and care, all from home. That means Genesis comes to you, picks up the car, provides you with a replacement vehicle, then the necessary work is done, whether it's warranty or inspection. That's pretty nice, isn't it? 5 whole years. So you've got a full 60 months of peace and quiet. Yes, the interior, we've done a really wonderful job here. You might notice 1 or 2 elements from Hyundai and Kia, but everything is independently designed with a fresh optical approach in mind. We'll start chronologically with the head-up display. 2024, I would say it's maybe even a generation too small. If I think about other head-up displays, for example, they project 40-80 inches onto the street. Here, it's essentially limited to just the most essential functions that one might need in this context. What we have are 2 12-inch displays, one for the driver and one for infotainment. Very high resolution, very well done. We have it in night mode now, so it's nice and black. This white doesn't really stand out visually for me. And we have here, and this is really, I have to say, this Napa leather package. Now, of course, I'm quite the leather freak. You can also get it in vegan options with faux leather, leather-free, and save 3,300 euros otherwise spent on genuine leather. This is so incredibly awesome. It's really nicely cushioned, and it feels so very comfortable to the touch. I could just keep stroking it all day long somehow. This is really some very fine leather. Here we have haptic buttons with rockers. It's kind of similar to what Mercedes-Benz can actually do. Then also here another swipe layer where we can then make the right area of the bicycle display. We have the drive mode switch where we can switch between eco, comfort and sport modes, of course. If you go for the Sport Plus package, you get an additional power button here. So there's also a difference with the 490 HP variant. And look, even here in the middle, I believe this is high quality leather.
Yeah.
So talking about the hub button, and I gotta say, that's more than just premium. That's actually pure luxury to me.
That's fine.
Otherwise, we have here the air conditioning control menu, which looks absolutely sensational and very intuitive, and I believe you can easily operate it blindly even while driving. Just a few functions here again under touch. You also have the auto function in 3 levels, gentle, medium and strong. Differentiate, it has a heating function if you really want to heat up the interior, or you can also switch off the AC, which is also separate. I think that's good. You have a driver-only function to save energy. If you're driving alone, you already know all that, and we have nice tactile buttons here in the quick selection menu. No need to switch back and forth. That's well done, yeah. Otherwise, we have this floating center console. We'll show you from the side in a bit where we can still adjust the volume with a rotary dial and also skip tracks. Can also have a home button here to always get to the home screen, or a menu button to then get into the menu. Here you have the rotary knob where you can also, as you know from BMW with this iDrive or whatever it's called, navigate through the menu here as well. So various options to keep you minimally distracted from traffic. But when I look out and drive, I can of course control it much better here and then go to media. Like if I switch back and forth here. Have you listened to Böse Onkels again lately?
Yeah.
Yes, exactly, because you're wired. Then you also have Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, though I haven't plugged in the cable yet. It was supposed to connect right here, so then you'd get all the great features that come with these systems. Once everything's hooked up. Yes, a quick selection feature. Yes, we have drive mode selectors. Then we also have onboard with the premium package, which is included in the sport package, seat ventilation, seat heating, steering wheel heating, auto hold function, then the camera and also an auto park function. Here we have the inductive charging pad fitting a large smartphone and keeping it charged throughout your trip. The pad is supposed to be ventilated, but my phone still tends to get quite hot when it's in there, making me question its effectiveness. Yes, exactly. And then we have another little storage compartment here for putting some more bits and pieces. And here at least there's a carpet. So I think that's also okay. I don't even know what this is and if I can get anything out of it. Oh, I see. You can open it up here too. Maybe it helps with the ventilation, or what exactly is the function for? I didn't quite understand what else can really be done around here. That's just the way it is. Yeah, feel free to write it in the comments if you know. You can also take out the carpet. There's bare plastic behind it. Other than that, the center armrest is not adjustable, but it's nice and softly padded. Yeah, since we're already here, Stefan can theoretically move the passenger seat back and forth and adjust the backrest. That's consistently a really cool feature when you might. Then once again, take a look. This is right here now, and this is probably another type of highly useful relaxation feature. So from that perspective, you have various adjustment options here. Then if you're sitting in the back to give yourself more space, I don't know, can you actually drive in a Genesis like that?
Definitely a few.
Yes, optionally you can get a panoramic glass here. It includes a convenient roller to open and close it easily, enhancing your overall experience. And up here, we have a bit of a Top Gun vibe, a compartment for the pilot's sunglasses. Yeah. A peek through the passenger door shows another look at this impressive open design and uniquely floating center console. Here we have a nice large compartment, 2 USB-C ports, one connected to the infotainment system, a 12-volt socket that can handle 180 watts. And here I'm somehow missing some kind of storage option. So I think, personally, I would have preferred if the compartment continued here, because then the lady could have put her handbag in there, or I could have put my little men's bag. Where's my man purse?
Oh, you. I have no idea where you hid that.
Yes, I definitely don't have it with me again today. Here's another compartment where you look down here, you have to go really deep. There's also a nice big compartment to put something inside. But if you place your handbag here, it might end up flying into the paddles during a sporty turn. Make sure to secure it properly to prevent that. Very dangerous. So that might be an idea for a model update, to create a separation here and make a nice big compartment. Yes, the highlights for me are definitely the Napa leather seats. This is truly the finest quality, with proper lumbar support here and reasonable support here then at the thigh. Of course, you can extend the seat for long legs, ensuring taller passengers enjoy a comfortable ride. Maybe what's missing here is a little shoulder mushroom. And then we have a nice comfort headrest here, which I think you can move somehow, but I don't know how at the moment, how it works. Yes, a highlight might also be this down here. Everything is kind of made of softer plastic. Up here, look, Stefan, it's all covered with exquisite Napa leather right up to the glass. This is really top-notch build quality. And then we have a drawer here.
Oh, not bad either.
Exactly, so that's nicely done, where you can store things properly and quite deep. Sort of like in the kitchen, what you just kind of can slide into the kitchen drawer. It's definitely a different and unique way to store your stuff, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, so before we get to the back seat, there are always some people who leave constructive criticism in the comments, saying things like, hey Ollie, don't exaggerate so much. If the front part is made of plastic, it's really not that big of a deal. When does it rattle? Well, it rattles when you're driving alone, driving on cobblestones, and the belt keeps hitting here. And it's just nice when there's Alcantara here, because it never rubs, rattles, or makes noise, making driving more comfortable. And we will have to wait and see if Genesis can manage to pull it down to the lumbar area for optimal comfort and support. Why it then transitions to hard plastic down here, I don't know. But probably they want to protect the entry and exit areas from getting dirty. What's also really great, by the way, and I completely forgot to mention this, is actually this nice, luxurious, high-pile floor mat carpet. I mean, it's almost kind of like in a Bentley. I think he has really long fibers. Or was that Rolls-Royce? I'm really not so sure anymore. What I completely forgot, Stefan, look, you even have these bronze-colored brake pads for an extra 330 euros. You can also pick colors again there.
But I'm also starting to notice how we get to the 75k, because there's a 10 here, 3 there, 1500 there.
But in the end, I think you have a unique car. With the Sport Plus package, you can get it in striking lime, bright yellow, and inside with dark blue leather and contrasting yellow stitching. Genesis offers a lot of individuality, which naturally comes at a price. So let's move on to something functional. I am 1.85 meters tall, a delicate 99.9 kilograms heavy, and I'd like to join you in checking out the back seat to see how easy it is to get in here.
Are we seated?
Yes, actually comfortable, though the bench slopes down a bit, which might not be immediately noticeable. Other cars have a bit more thigh support, but I find that I have surprisingly a lot of space here, particularly in the headroom area, even though we have the sloping roofline of a coupe. And we have a center armrest where my elbow isn't in the cup holder unless placed up front, but that'd be unergonomic. Of course, I would have preferred it. We have 3 adjustable headrests here. Look, this one is fully retracted, so it doesn't block the rear view, which I also like.
That's good.
Yeah, if the headrest was somehow still attached here in some way, I might have actually found it more charming. Write in the comments how you see it. Anyway, we now have 2 cup holders that are a bit far back. They somehow belong further forward. The center armrest is also very, very softly padded, very chic, but it's kind of, I don't know, yeah, whatever. We have nice Alcantara going back, nice lighting to read a book because the light falls nicely on the book here, so not the light at the front, but further back. Genesis really thought this through. We now have 2 USB ports. This large compartment from the front extends all the way to the back, so you can also store a lot of things there. But what I miss here in the middle are the air vents. They have now been integrated into the B-pillars to ensure good air conditioning and heating in the rear area. I also somehow miss a 3-zone control here, so that I might also be able to control it here in the back. Beiß. Ja. What's really very nicely done here, by the way, is the wardrobe, I mean the coat hook, where you can hang up your jacket or your coat. It's all very elegant, even back here with the finest Napa leather, also featuring the contrasting stitching and the warm texture. Well, I'd say you do get something for the $3,000 or a good $3,000.
Yes, and it does look quite classy, you have to say.
Back seat also Napa leather, but here in the middle, yeah, hard plastic. That could be a bit softer here with the pocket. Yeah, that's probably just how it is with car manufacturing these days, but in the end, I've definitely got plenty of space here. I still have a fist width of space to the seat adjusted to the B-pillar. So actually, I think you can travel comfortably here with 3 or 4 people. I'm a bit of a seat giant with my long limbs all the way back and down, and even there, a bag still fits here. Well, I guess a child or a petite, delicate lady would of course still fit in here. And what is a highlight for me is the door trim. Up to the armrest, everything is nicely covered in leather again. A manual roller blind that you can extend and retract to have a bit more sun protection and privacy. The Bang & Olufsen sound system, then leather, Alcantara leather again. Also very, very high quality with seat heating, central locking, power windows and a cup holder. Always outside, you could have just saved this one, right?
Well, yeah, better go ahead and close it up if it's really on the side.
You know, because then I would have had more space here for the armrest. Well, maybe nowadays you also have 2 cups because another bottle can fit in the compartment below. Yes.
Definitely. You can fit both here. A bottle of water and a coffee mug too.
But this time down here, it's also soft plastic on the outside and hard plastic on the inside. I must say this is really well made. For once, there's nothing to nitpick about except, look, plastic. And then cobblestones, high risk of rattling bones. We showed you everything outside, we showed you everything inside. I'd say you're just as excited as I am. We want to take it out for a drive and see exactly how the Genesis GV60 with the Sport package handles on the open road. We want to examine the turning circle. It's 11.9 meters, which is quite extensive for a 4.51 meter car. This directly impacts its handling in tight spaces and urban driving situations. I would have wished for us to be able to manage to get it down to approximately 11 meters to better maneuver in tight urban environments. We want to simulate a parking situation with you to see just how maneuverable we can actually park the Genesis GV60 in various everyday scenarios that drivers might frequently encounter. Here we get support from a, in my opinion, very high resolution rear view camera, where we also have guidelines, but where we probably see the yellow line. The ditch against the Audi. Now we have to correct a little bit here again because we can't turn the front wheel so sharply. That was a bit of my criticism regarding the turning radius, maybe also due to the electric motor and the other stuff installed up front, but we do have maximum support with the 360-degree camera here. What you can do very nicely, as you probably know from many different vehicles, is to get a comprehensive and detailed view all around the car, which really aids in maneuvering in tight spaces and ensures you avoid any possible obstacles. To go, you also have the opportunity here to use the rear and front cameras for better visibility. Not sure why the front camera is not working. Let's switch gear. Then we have a side camera here where you can see the rims nicely, and where we also have the opportunity here to get a detailed overview, where we have the opportunity to get a 180-degree wide-angle view. That's really important when you're pulling out forward or backward from a driveway and can't see if pedestrians or cyclists are coming. Yes, we'll try out right away how the car rides over cobblestones and how smooth it is. We have the adaptive chassis here, which dampens proactively, and we just have a few items lying in the center console. And because it's not padded or insulated, but hard plastic, it rattles and rustles. Yeah.
And that becomes somewhat burdensome over time.
Right, so always go for nice soft materials, then it won't rattle or rustle. Here we have another nice potion, which he handles smoothly, making the ride more pleasant and enjoyable.
Smooth as butter.
So this predictive suspension system is priced at €770. I would recommend it because it significantly enhances the driving experience, offering a better balance between comfort and sportiness compared to the standard steel suspension. We have arrived at our favorite route with a nice winding, almost serpentine layout where you can really see the suspension in action, showcasing its excellent handling and adapting smoothly to the curves. Then it also effectively does its job well enough, and the car, with its good 2 tons depending on the model, also stays firmly on the road, providing stability. Yeah, with the 168 kW variant you get 350 Newton meters of torque, rear-wheel drive, and a 0 to 100 acceleration in 7.8 seconds. These aren't really performance numbers we're talking about, it's more of a comfortable cruiser, right?
This is the cruiser.
And if we're honest, we experienced it in the Kia EV6. There's something new coming up soon, we'll keep you updated. It's actually sufficient for everyday use, right? Well, actually, if you prefer a bit more performance, you can opt for the mid-range all-wheel drive here with 160 kilos on the rear axle and 74 kilos on the front axle, thus giving a total of 318 horsepower. Then you get 605 Newton meters of torque, and it goes from 0 to 100 in 5.5 seconds. Let's try that now, yes?
This is going to be fun.
By the way, the rear-wheel drive goes 185. Then our variant with the smaller all-wheel drive, let's say, goes 200 km/h. For those wanting more performance, there's the Sport Plus package, 2x 180 kilovolts in front, 360 kilovolts in the rear, 490 PS. It accelerates from 0 to 100 in 4 seconds. Yeah, and it tops out at 235 km/h. I don't really know why the press office gave us such a mid-range version, because everyone knows that with Genesis we're really high performing, aren't we?
Yes, they probably just want to bait us so that we only get the big start.
Ah, okay, we want to take you through a quick tight turn right now. Even in such conditions, I find the suspension remains very, very stable, providing a smooth and controlled ride. But it's totally comfortable and you don't get any hard knocks here at all. Just think about other vehicles we've driven in this very place where you always got those sharp jolts to your spine whenever you hit a bump.
That's really comfortable.
The Genesis moderates all this perfectly, stays firm and doesn't get mushy, ensuring a smooth and controlled experience. I have to say the engineers truly managed to achieve an impressive spread in their design. I switched to sport mode. We've activated our draggy and want to measure 0 to 100. Stefan, do a countdown.
3, 2, 1, go.
And then he immediately starts up very quickly. 30, 50, 70, 90, 100. And now we're hitting the brakes, so let's see what happens next in this test. Yeah, he's really listening intently. That's a fantastic and fascinating story. Yeah, let's take a closer look at the numbers now. Here in the draggy, 0 to 100 in 5.75 seconds. Yes, that's 0.25 seconds slower than the factory specification. But we definitely don't have perfect conditions here. It just rained a bit. We have a very slight slip, but he still manages it perfectly with the electronics. Yeah, 0 to 50 in 2.33 seconds. That's important for those of you who want to make a quick traffic light start in the urban environment. 0 to 60 in just 2.82 seconds. Real sports car values. Let's continue driving through the terrain to see how this impressive car performs off-road and showcases its full capabilities. As I mentioned earlier, we have a slight slip here, so I can't proceed with what I wanted. Go through the curves at maximum speed, but you can really feel here that the car is nicely soft and quite comfortable. The suspension and steering are very direct even when navigating the curves. I have to say, driving quickly on a country road is really fun.
Yes, definitely can.
And I think this is one of the first SUVs where I'd actually be excited to drive up the Großglockner, right?
Yeah, why not?
So, especially when this incredible high-performance weapon shows up, this Super Genesis GV60, I've forgotten the exact name, but it's something like Mamba, Magno, or maybe Magna or something similar. But I have to tell you, it looks so damn sharp in that orange. So go check out the Genesis website. So this would definitely be a car for some big shot with a lot of money, right? Yeah.
I could definitely go for that, yeah. Oh, I see you want to go again, don't you?
I want to show the 5.5 seconds here.
All right, let's just go ahead and get started with this right away now, guys. 3, 2, 1, go.
And there he goes, 30, 50, 70, 90, 100. And now we're hitting the brakes really hard. I have to say, they grip incredibly well the second time around, just like they did the very first time that we tried it, because it's important that we don't just accelerate quickly, but also come to a quick stop, right? Yes, that's important.
Clear.
Check the values starting from 0 to 100. It's currently at 6.19.
Yes.
This time it didn't work out. 0 to 50 in 2.65 seconds, 0 to 60 in 3.13, and 60 to 103 seconds. So those are already excellent values indeed if you ever need to overtake a car on the road while driving at high speeds. I must say this is fun. And now let's switch to comfort or eco, and now to comfort. And there you also have power, so I'd say this mid-range engine, 318 HP, I think that's the sweet spot with the small front engine. I might even recommend this to you if you need all-wheel drive. If you just say, man, Ollie, we're not as performance-focused as you, we just want to cruise. We want to enjoy life to the fullest and savor every moment. Honestly, the rear-wheel drive variant would probably suffice for what we need.
I think so too, yes.
So if you really want to be on the road like us, well, we have over 500 horsepower, but at least with 490 horsepower, you can still have a lot with the Sport Plus variant. A step forward, because I'm telling you, 5.5 or 4 seconds, that's a whole different world. We want to measure the interior noise levels together with all of you at a consistent speed of 50 km/h. The result is 51.52 decibels. Which is truly an exceptional value. We measured an S-Class with this device here at 56.57 decibels. We accelerated to 70 km/h, 54.55 decibels. So somehow it's, no, but you can very clearly notice it inside the vehicle that you hardly ever hear any of the passing cars at all outside, which is quite impressive. And right now we're actually driving comfortably at around 100 km/h. 61, 62 decibels. These are by far, by a very significant margin, the absolute best values we've ever measured. Just for comparison, a VW ID3 or an ID4 is around mid-70 decibels. I have to give Genesis a massive 123,000 compliments. How on earth did they insulate this interior?
That's great.
Because even now in the subjective perception, when they drive by, it's just sensational, right?
This is a slight break.
Right, we're going to take our favorite curve at 90 km/h with distance regulating cruise control and the steering assistant. And look at how he's doing it. Very, very clean. So compared to the Hyundai or even the Kia, I feel that he's holding the distances much better here on the country road. This is absolutely fantastic, I must say. We continue on here with the valuable support of the assistance systems. Distances, I meant between the left and the right lane. Yes, you have a steering assistant, you have a lane keeping assistant, and you have basically a comprehensive highway drive assist that helps significantly, but which also works partly on the country road. And even tight curves, I really have to say. When you drive in the middle here, we've already had test subjects which more or less steered us into oncoming traffic. What really doesn't work outside the highway is the speed limit assist, as it often fails to detect the correct speed limits, leading to potential speeding issues. We noticed the same thing with the Kia. That means it only makes the adaptive adjustments on the highway, so on the Autobahn. That means if it recognizes 70, it goes down to 70. It doesn't do that outside the highway. And I would hope that both Genesis and Kia or even Hyundai would improve on that, because many premium manufacturers, let's take the Volkswagen Group as an example, or also BMW and Mercedes, which by now should be done perfectly. And we really ought to be able to solve something like that, because it recognizes the speed limit via the camera and just needs to adapt it into the cruise control. So if he can do it on the highway, he should do it always, right?
Actually, yes.
I don't really understand. Let's have a conversation about the ride comfort. Stefan, what exactly does your hopometer indicate?
What can I say? It's super comfortable in these seats. It's really nice. I think they're really designed for long trips and long distances. You get good lateral and thigh support. It all fits. You're really sitting comfortably here, truly. And the chassis is just a dream.
So guys, I can only recommend it to you. Please go for a test drive, and especially If you've had the chance to drive a Hyundai, whether it's the Ioniq 5, Ioniq 6, or even a Kia EV6, you'll notice it's a completely new world. The ride comfort is extraordinary, and the dampers are definitely top-notch premium. It's an entirely different and much higher level. Well, compared to that, the Kia EV6, which we've been driving for about 2 years now, we're really satisfied with. Even if he leaves now, something new is coming, as I've already hinted to you. We'll definitely show you what's coming. We were satisfied with that. You have to talk about it. The price range is about 50,000, 60,000, 70,000 euros. We're not discussing a Mercedes EQS here. We have to be honest here. Your criticism is always quite justified that sometimes I may overdo it a bit because I might have driven an EQS and then want to compare the test subjects with it. I don't want that at all. However, Genesis just nails it when it comes to noise insulation and ride comfort. I also think the seats really have that recliner level hitting that lounge level. That's just, I think, a completely different league. If they now somehow manage to get the speed adjustment right, then theoretically, with a bit more power, it could even become a new electric car, right? Oh,
I'm glad to hear that.
So I have to say, Bang & Olufsen doesn't have a good reputation for nothing, because you can definitely notice it here in the highs, how clear and distinct they are. We have a very clean mid-range. We have a nice deep bass level without having a booming subwoofer constantly thumping. This is truly something designed for audiophiles, and I really like that a lot. And that now brings us to Apple CarPlay Android Auto, which you can currently utilize in a wired setup to mirror your smartphone entirely within the vehicle system, allowing for seamless integration and control. I would really hope that maybe in the next generation it also comes wireless, because with the inductive charging surface we have the option to charge the battery separately, and wireless is just always a bit nicer without a cord, right?
That's definitely more pleasant, yeah?
Let's talk about consumption. That means here on the display, we have a very, very nice consumption value after last night's charging. Up until now, we have driven 47.5 kilometers and consumed 21.9 kilowatt hours of energy. That's okay. And we also have a long-term value here of 943.3 kilometers with 21.2 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometer. Don't forget, we always drive relatively briskly with the cars, because we want to test the dynamics a bit too. And therefore, I definitely have to say, these are reasonable fuel consumption rates for an SUV. Yes, we want to drive through New Brandenburg with you now and measure such a town pass-through, a bit of city traffic, so you could perhaps get another reference point for urban usages and ranges, because many of you might use such a car in an urban environment. And in the second video with the consumption test and charging check, you'll get the figures for what you consume at 100, 120, 140, 160 kilometers each on the highway. And if you maybe take it on vacation to Italy, how quickly can you recharge? How fast do you reach your destination? Is there still a big difference compared to a combustion engine? What I really like about Hyundai Kia and here in the Genesis are the paddle shifters located behind the steering wheel. That means you can set it to level 0 so the car can really coast. Level 1 with light recuperation, level 2 medium, level 3 strong recuperation. And then again using the iPedal drive to the maximum extent, where you can basically stop the car just with the accelerator pedal and continue driving it. Yes, those indeed are good features, because the driver can easily adjust it with just a light movement of the steering wheel without needing to fumble through some complicated menu. We drove through New Brandenburg with you, covered a distance of 7.7 kilometers and had a consumption of 9.5 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers. Top piece too, right?
Yes, that's city traffic.
For an AWD, I find that really impressive. And if we extrapolate that to the, I believe, 72, 74 kilowatt hours net usable capacity, then we would essentially be in an urban environment now in summer at, so today, 23 degrees, manage 7 kilometers.
Yes, when you're driving in city traffic.
And if we then assume that someone drives about 30 kilometers per day, you should theoretically be able to go a good 20 days without recharging.
It's possible.
Yeah, so the car might be particularly interesting for those who park on the street and can't charge at home, but can instead use fast chargers or AC charging, offering a flexible alternative to home charging. Yes. Let's get to the conclusion with the Genesis GV60. 2024 model year. I have to say I'm very impressed. You are getting a car with several unique features, including a very nice and appealing interior design that truly stands out. Front end, it has a beautiful rear end. Its exterior is well designed. It has many unique features. You stand out, especially when driving through Neubrandenburg. People turn their heads. Look, man, what kind of car is that? Because maybe you just have a more pleasant appearance than the usual everyday cars you typically see on the roads all the time. Furthermore, you have the option to get it starting from 54,000 euros in the base model. So for all those who say, I don't need all that fancy stuff and extras, like our test car here, then you actually get a well-equipped Genesis GV60, more chain drive, 77 kilowatt hour battery starting at around 54,000 euros. I would go for the premium package, so 57,000 euros plus maybe another color and a little extra feature. Then it's actually done, right? Yeah, tricky too. If you don't need a tech package with matrix headlights and adaptive cruise control and so on, then you're actually pretty good. 58,000 euros through, then another 3 grand on top, Bang & Olufsen 1,000 euros, Napa leather and so on. And then of course with a tow hitch and all the bells and whistles, you're looking more at 75.
What you want is something everyone has to decide.
If you go for the sports package, then it's with all-wheel drive. And if you even want Sports Plus, then you're at mid-80s.
Yes.
You have this spread, but then almost everything in the interior is leather, the highest quality materials. So you genuinely have to give Genesis several well-deserved compliments. They truly nailed it.
Absolutely. The build quality here is also mega, really.
And you basically get 5 years of warranty and service included. This means that if you ever have a problem with the car, it will practically be picked up. You get a replacement car and someone ensures your car is meticulously restored to its perfect condition. Returning, only a few manufacturers offer that. Usually you're on your way to the workshop yourself. Well, I have to say, Genesis offers just that little bit more comfort and sustainability.
Ja, richtig.
Ride comfort is truly impressive, especially when compared to Kia and Hyundai models. Genesis takes it to another level of excellence. Genesis is really a significant step above the rest, almost reaching the level of a higher vehicle class, to be completely honest about it, as we might be accustomed to in the Mercedes EQE or in the BMW i5. However, those are also vehicles that consume quite a bit more resources and naturally represent a different vehicle category. So overall, I must say Genesis is definitely an option for those who don't really focus on the Euro and want to drive in a pleasantly different manner from the average, offering a unique driving experience that stands out from the crowd. Factors to consider carefully. Personally, I can only recommend taking a test drive. Get a good impression of this vehicle and perhaps consider having an attractive leasing or financing offer calculated, because while the gross list price is one thing, the monthly rate can be a different matter you should definitely examine closely. That you might get for a period a completely different ball game. And with that, we have now come to the end of the first part of our review featuring the Genesis GV60. I hope you enjoyed watching the video. Please give it a thumbs up. Please double check if you are part of the einfach community so you don't miss the second video with the highway drive, consumption values and the charging check. Thank you very much for watching. Stay healthy and see you very soon. Yours, Ollie. You know, Stefan, there are so many nice things about the car, right? But how awesome would it be if that shark fin antenna was gone, right?
That would really be the absolute best thing ever, I would undoubtedly say.